You're about to watch a free clip of Old School. If you like it, wait till you see the whole episode. All the episodes in their entirety are available for members. Become a member by going to tyt.com/join. All right, welcome to Old School. Cenk, Uygur, Ben Mankiewicz with you guys. Obviously, as always, sponsored by shoptyt.com, where you can find this shirt. It is not a cool shirt of Trump. It says "The Swamp Strikes Back." Okay, it's a cool shirt overall. The only downside, and this is, I get it, this is true of some of the shirts at shoptyt.com, they still have Trump's face on it.
It looks like a Trump shirt.
Yeah.
Like he would wear it just because he didn't, because he can't
He doesn't
read.
understand.
Right, doesn't understand it, never heard of The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, and he'd be like, oh yeah, the swamp. Yeah, let me guess it. And I look good there.
I'm towering over the swamp.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very strong swamp. So did you see that he said that the ocean was not that big?
Not that big.
No.
I mean, did you read the whole quote, that whole thing?
Yeah, Brett read it on air today.
It was one of his 5 dumbest, and that's, it's hard to crack that top 5.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna have to do a decent amount of politics today. One, I'm gonna be away the next couple of days from the Young Turks, and I got to get some stuff out. 2, I just want to, and so, but before that, I'm gonna do some fun stuff. But even before that, let me just finish the thought on shoptyt.com. We have a shirt.
Anything before that?
No, just that right now, of Trump doing like this, and it's like the Obama style hope thing, but it says grope. Okay, so it's very artistic. But I mean, you were shitting all over our merchandise last week. The problem with the grope shirt is it's tough to wear, right? It's like really great art.
Oh yeah, right, but you can't.
But it's tough to wear. It's a good quality shirt too. So I don't know.
I don't think you can. It's part of the problem. It's because we had the experience with the crazy person who Jerome Corsi worked for. Jerome Corsi is a crazy person in the news now because of his. Right, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I did something I didn't do. Great, good. Go to trial. Go to jail.
Yeah, let's see how that turns out. I'm not gonna lie. Too late.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of why you're going to jail in the first place.
So Jerome Corsi was like Washington correspondent for InfoWars.
Yeah.
Not a thing. But I'm reminded of Alex Jones because Alex Jones antagonized us at the Republican and came by saying, why won't you wear this shirt? And he held up the Bill Clinton rape shirt instead of hope. Yeah, you can't wear that shirt, and I'm not sure you can wear grope either.
Yeah, and I think rape is, an order of magnitude worse.
It is,
but
we are in the same playing field.
Yeah, it's issue. Okay, my dad.
Gripe. But doesn't really make any sense. But
no, the original was dope.
Dope, that's good.
Yeah, that makes sense. The oceans are really big. No, they're not. Right.
Right.
But the problem was that dope also has a positive connotation.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
Soap.
I don't know what that means. But
nope.
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 Interesting. Okay.
Hope.
Nope. No, that doesn't do it. Elope. Man, I thought I almost had that one. Okay. So my dad is 81, but he loves the internet.
By the way, what's not bad? One of these pictures.
Mope. Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. That's really good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get back to that son of a bitch in a sec. So my dad sits down on my computer. They're staying with me for a little while, a couple of weeks, and every time he sits down and I got all my tabs open, and I'm reading that article, but I didn't get all the way through it. I'm making that bet, but I didn't get all the way through it, etc. Right? And my dad comes in. He's got to check his email, right? So he's like, X. Okay, now we reopen the browser, and here we go. I'm like, no. Yeah.
It's so unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah, but he doesn't know, right? So the other day I told him, like, Dad, you see this little thing here? You click on that and it opens up a new page for you so you don't have to X out all the other pages. He's like, okay, that sounds good. I didn't know. I was like, okay, I got to get a new page. X, we're done with it. I've lost like 28 different things I was in the middle of.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you your business, but there is a history on the browser, and all those pages can come back.
Yeah, no, don't know that. And who's gonna find that? I mean, who's like?
Yeah, that could take you literally seconds.
Yeah,
Even you.
No, but even me, like, I'd have to somehow find it. This is a guy who was kind of a little bit making fun of his dad for not knowing technology well.
So I'm reminded.
A second ago.
I'm reminded of a story of a mutual friend of ours. Well, I can tell. No, I won't even tell who the mutual friend is. It really doesn't have to do with the friend. It has to do with a house guest of the friend.
Mm-hmm.
So the friend used to travel a lot, and the friend had dogs, and he would have people stay at his house. He never boarded his dogs. I don't either. So they would have find somebody stay at the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be gone, a week, and go see family back east or whatever. So,
so Wendy's originally from Taiwan, my wife.
oh, so you don't mean yeah.
And so I was trying to explain the concept of a house sitter to her just the other day.
Right.
She's like, no, that's not a thing. No, people don't go to sit in people's houses. That's not no, they actually do. Americans actually do. I helped Ben house sit in a helped
you
Ben.
Stay, right, you slept at the house we were house sitting.
Yeah. And she's like, no, not a thing. You made that up just now. There's no way that somebody's like, oh, just come and sit in my house.
Right.
Right. But it is actually a thing.
It is a thing, and it happens a lot here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because people leave nice houses, and I think frequently people are like, great, I'll come. It's like getting an Airbnb for no money.
And a giant one.
And frequently a giant one. Because nobody says, will you house sit my studio apartment?
So when we were house sitting then, we had no money at all. Now we have chow money. But it was a godsend. It was it was good, a really nice house in a nice area.
Don't you think that there are probably people living in the given what you pay people and the quality of your T-shirts that there are people here at the Turks who would be like, yeah. You have a pool? And of course.
No, I mean, like,
and what I gotta do? I gotta feed your cat. I can stay in your house for 5 days. Fantastic.
Yeah. So when I was single and poor, which is the overwhelming majority of my life, if you said to me, "Would you like to house it?" Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. What? Like, it's hard to imagine a scenario where it's a no. Sure, you can imagine one, but you got to stretch a little bit, and I'm a little incredulous about it. And even now, if I was single and the kids are out, whatever, right? And you want to house sit, I'm at a 78% that it's a yes.
That's right.
Yeah, because it's a different house. How cool is it to live in a different house for a week?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Or
as long as it's not too far away. But
yeah, I mean, look, in a lot of the houses in LA are lovely. I have to sit in your lovely house for a week.
Watch your lovely TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
That's actually it's awesome.
I have to sit in your. Can I swim in your pool? Because they're always like, house is yours.
Yeah.
Okay. No, so I always think. So when we have to travel and we're like, if like the person who usually house sits for us can't do it, I always think I just got to go to the Turks. I'll find somebody to take that house.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I live in Santa Monica. Somebody will stay in that house.
Oh, you're looking for a house sitter. You've come to the right place.
Got to the right place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't do it? Ja'Cory, you wouldn't. Oh, I see why. Okay.
Why?
Because he's black.
Oh.
And so, like, if you no, seriously.
Well, because that's oddly, because that's why I wouldn't get Ja'Cory to do it. Also.
So.
No, Ja'Cory, why wouldn't?
No, somebody's going to report him. He's totally right. Oh, it's okay. It's a young African American male.
My neighbor would call the cops.
Your neighbor would call the cops. That's right.
Yeah.
And you know the story what happened to Ja'Cory in Santa Monica for riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
Which admittedly is a little dangerous. Okay. Was it a 10-speed? Not even a 10-speed. Okay.
A 1-speed. Yeah, it's crazy because it would. Now all I want to do is have Ja'Cory house it.
Yeah. He's not going to take it. That your neighbor would call the cops on him 7 times over under 7.
But I would alert the other neighbors because we have, and they would like
Yeah.
they'd stop.
No. On day 2, she'd make her fourth call.
Also, like right now, what he's wearing, because he's got, you can't wear a hoodie for crying out loud. That's just, that's flat out dangerous.
Yeah, I think you might be wearing a hoodie, but that's not dangerous.
No, me. What are you talking about? Mine's cashmere. So that neighbor who I really don't like, and
oh really? Yeah. That's controversial.
But I mean, it's hard to maintain rancor at your, at your neighbor, But she called the cops on a black kid selling magazines, right? And they came. And I had to, explain to them that he's just knocking on doors selling magazines. It's not a threat. And I ran down the street when I realized.
Why did they have Weekly Standard? Because that might be a threat.
But she would love the Weekly Standard. No, it occurred to me. I said, I was rushing to come here. And I was like, I gotta go. I don't have time. And I don't want to buy any magazines, man. Like, I appreciate where you're going, but I got no interest in it. And then I go upstairs. I've told the story before, but then I go upstairs and I'm like, he's gonna go next door, right? Shit, right? So I run outside, and sure enough, she's yelling at him and call the cops. And he's like, hey, okay, whatever,
Jesus.
He's like, go ahead. I don't care. I'm not doing anything wrong. And then he goes down by the time the cops come, and then I left to come here, and then I turned around and came back, and that's when I ran down the street to just like say to the cops, hey, I just want to make clear, the person who called this in is a lunatic. But they ran their thing. They were nice, but still, he got held up for 18 minutes of conversation, and nobody bought the Weekly Standard. But so a couple days ago, I get out of my car, and she says, I need your help. She's German.
Ah, okay.
Interesting. So I go and I help her, and she says she has called AAA because she has lost her keys in the car. Called AAA.
Okay, but I have to confess, I don't know. I'm not sure what I would do.
When you'd find the keys, they're in the car. She fell them. They fell out of her purse.
Oh, the car's not locked.
No, all the doors are open. Yeah.
Weird that that's the same person dumb enough to be racist.
Yeah, so I was like, she's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, have you looked under the seats? And she says, I can't find them, and I'm trying not to do her accent, but it's strong, her accent.
Yeah.
But she didn't really know how to move her seats up and forward. Guess what kind of car she drives?
I don't know. She's German. Mercedes.
She drives a Mercedes, and she doesn't. She didn't know how to move the seats up and back.
Yeah.
So I moved the seats up and back, and I was going to surprise you. I found her keys.
Oh, really?
And she.
Wait. Did you once work at AAA?
And she brought me today, or the day, this happened 2 days ago, and then yesterday, sitting in front of our door was from Trader Joe's some black truffles. Black truffles. I think the word I'm looking for is chocolate truffles.
Oh, that's funny.
But I feel like the word black was on there.
No, it's probably dark chocolate though.
Totally. So she gave me some chocolate truffles, which are delicious. But so it's really hard not to be, because you're like, oh, that was nice of her, even though. Oh yeah, right. She's racist.
Yeah.
And she has fought with every. Oh, so our other neighbors across the street. So the people across the street from us, we live on a little side street, a beautiful street. But the people across the street have no sidewalk. There's only one sidewalk on our side of the street. So, and you can't park on that side of the street. So people park in front of our house. Whatever. There's ample parking in our neighborhood. She complains when somebody takes her space. It's not her space.
That's not a thing.
But she has scared everybody in the neighborhood. I don't do it. My wife doesn't do it. Nobody does it. And she comes out and yells at whoever parks in her space. But anyway, so our neighbors, who we like very much, they have 3 children, and they're teenage boys, like, I don't know, 13 or 14 or something. And he has a bike, and you can't really leave the bike in front of their house. He shouldn't. He should put it in the driveway, but he's 13. And so I guess he left his bike. She's also incensed because of these new bikes, the bird bikes, the red bikes. They're around now.
I haven't even seen them.
Yeah, they got bikes now. I don't know if they're bird bikes, but it's the same exact concept as the scooters, as you get a red bike. But he left his bike there, so in front of her house, directly across the street from their house. It's on the sidewalk in front of her house. It blocks nothing, but she considers that some sort of so she hid it.
So in essence, to teach them a lesson, she stole the
kids' bike.
property.
So they're looking for it, and they're all looking for it, and they're yelling at her like, "Monica, tell us where the bike is." And she's like, "He left it in front of my house," And she's telling my wife and I the story as if like she's the hero of this story.
Yeah.
And we're like, Now the only good part of the story is our neighbors are white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's the only, and he's blonde. Like the kid is the kind of kid she should like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she ever reveal where the bike is, or she still has it tied up in the
eventually
basement?
they found it. I mean, she didn't like push it, like bury it underground. Like it was
Right.
just hidden behind some
Like
bushes.
she only does it with bikes, not kids, right?
But he was going to go to school. He was riding his bike to school.
Yeah.
Lunatic.
So,
She told me her dad in the World War, because her dad was fought in World War II, and she told me her dad was a paymaster, which I figure everyone who was a Nazi during the war, if their kids are alive, they're like, oh, he didn't fight. He just paid. He was like a cook or a paymaster.
yeah, paymaster doesn't sound that great.
No,
No, like I would have gone with cook.
Yeah.
Like cook, okay, all right.
I just feel like everybody's dad was a paymaster or a cook.
yeah. You didn't really want to run the numbers back then.
Yeah, right.
So, but apparently not many lessons learned. Anyway, so if I was you, I'm not sure I would have done the key thing, but I'm darker than you. So like, if
How do you say like no in that moment? Like,
I know. No. I like because like if I go into her car and then I'm looking for the keys and then she calls the cops and then I'm like, oh, here are the keys. She's like, see, there he is. He's got my keys.
Right. Yeah.
So then Anyways, I have a neighbor that I've now told this a couple of times who has a QAnon sticker on their bumper sticker on their car. But I don't talk to that neighbor because I'm not interested in that conversation.
Right. That's a woman.
I'm not sure who it is. And so but there's no, that conversation cannot end in a positive way because either it goes down the rabbit hole and it's a terrible idea, or I like her, but she's insane.
No,
that's not great either.
I think I'd almost rather have the racist Nazi as opposed to the equal opportunity Nazi. I'd almost rather have the racist Nazi as a neighbor than, I'm doing this as I literally as I tell the story.
That's so funny. Yeah.
The racist Nazi than some QAnon. Because the racist Nazi,
like you see them coming from the front.
You did. She grew up in East Berlin, so she grew up behind the Red Curtain. She came over, so she, I think some of her at least political views come from being so stridently anti-communist, right? So she's a big right winger, but that doesn't excuse. That does not excuse the racism or explain the racism. But the QAnon is so. I just know how to. I can deal with that as opposed to dealing with what is going to be the absolute lunacy of the QAnon.
Yeah, like we're familiar with the rationale of racists, right? And whereas we're unfamiliar with the rationale or lack thereof of the conspiracy theorists. Like, okay, the racist might not like me because I was born into a Muslim family or I'm brown or whatever. Like, I get it, right? Whereas QAnon is like, oh, you were walking with your left foot first.
Right, that's right.
So that must mean that I am in mortal danger and must act now. And you're like, boo, I don't know what just happened and why are we having this conversation, right?
That's right.
So on the other hand, I love my other neighbors. I love Mark from Louisiana. He's such a character, man. He's the one that if you're coming for me, he's coming for you.
What does that mean?
He has an array of weaponry in his house.
Oh, great.
And he has a dog that is clearly too dangerous. Okay. And there's talk in the neighborhood of that dog should never see the light of day. Okay. And so and Mark is always watching. And so if you're like, oh yeah, that Uygur, he doesn't have a gun, he doesn't have anything, okay, no problem. Mark's the last thing you're ever gonna see. And he tells great stories in his hilarious Louisiana accent, and he converted to Judaism, okay? And so his wife is Jewish, okay?
All right, so you did it for marriage, all
right.
All right.
And so and for the record, Ben, like if any of you are unfamiliar, Ben is Jewish, so he's allowed to say that, okay? Or he's allowed to make that facial expression.
Well, real quick, my wife offered to convert to Judaism both before we got married and then after we got married. So that Joe, she's Italian from Jersey, so she's basically already Jewish.
Right, right.
And she, because she wanted our daughter, that like no ambiguity, we'd just be Jewish. And I was like, I don't know if you understand. I'll divorce you instantly.
So Dave Kohler told his wife too, like, don't. That's ridiculous.
No, it's ridiculous.
And she's like, yeah, not buying it, and she did it.
Oh, she did it anyway.
And he's like, oh, okay, all right, okay.
Great.
So and I met a Jewish family that had converted from Judaism to Islam, and my reaction was.
Yeah, right, totally.
Right. It's not because it's bad to convert to Judaism or Islam. It's the conversion. Like, why?
What are you doing? You're a grown, sentient person.
There's only one conversion that's acceptable, and that's to atheism. Right? Like, hey, I read the books. Turns out they don't make sense.
There is the nonsensical conversion to appease parents for a couple that's in love. Right? Like, I don't believe it. I'm not asking you to. It's crazy. You don't believe it. Let's just do it. And then my parents will be happy and we like them, even though that's a crazy part of them. Okay, great. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I'll buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem is, of course, the zeal of the converted. The family that I knew that converted to Islam, they're wonderful people because people who convert are in two categories, right? One is QAnon. Like not interested in having a conversation because they read the Quran was like, oh.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, that part where they're against the people that are not the people of the book. And they're in a dangerous tribe. I like it, right?
That part made sense.
So there's that. And then there's the people who are like, oh my God, have you seen how wonderful Muslims are to the poor? Have you read the part of the Quran where they say, you have to give so much to the poor, or the Old Testament? Good luck finding that part in the Old Testament, but yeah, I think it exists somewhere. Certainly in the New Testament, right? And okay, those are wonderful people. I don't agree with them,
but I got you.
But like,
if you find something that is your calling, and then you want to dedicate your life to helping others, and you found that in the religious texts. Obviously, you deserve nothing but an embrace.
But nonetheless,
we're not going to be able to hang out on Sundays and talk football.
Yeah, that's right. Because you know what happened? A friend of mine was getting married.
I don't mean because they're going to thing. Just that you don't care about stuff that I care about.
Yeah, no,
I don't care about helping people who need help.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I converted too. I converted to the Rams.
Right.
I got a Rams hat.
Right. I live
They're in LA now. I predicted that they would be good.
You got a bet on them for the season.
Yeah, and I got Jared Goff now, my fantasy football team. That's a conversion you can live with.
I can live with that conversion.
And I always like growing up, they were my fourth favorite team, so that's okay.
You can't argue. I never liked them in St. Louis because it was wrong.
It was wrong.
But
everybody knew it.
They were my second favorite team. They were my dad and brothers.
Oh, they were? Okay, they were my fourth.
They were my dad and brother's favorite team because they grew up here. So the Rams were always a big deal in our house.
Okay, we're gonna go back to the conversion because there is a funny story in there in a sec. But can we talk? I believe the limit on number of favorite teams is actually 4.
No, it's not 4.
Okay.
You know how I know it's not? Because you just said they were my 4th favorite team, and I wanted to laugh at you.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
No. You have the correct position. Don't get me wrong. I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm not an unreasonable person. Okay. I mean, you're allowed a second favorite team. Third, you're really pushing it.
You're allowed to.
Okay. Yeah. You're pushing it. Yeah. But here's what you're definitely, and every American can agree to this. Not allowed a 5th favorite team.
I think that standard applies at 4.
You think so?
I think that laughter comes in at 4.
No, here's my counter argument.
Are you going to tell me why?
Let me tell you why. Okay, so Steelers is my favorite team. Everybody gets it. I'm an American. Okay, Chargers. Come on, Dan Fouts, Air Coryell. Okay.
Right, fun games.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And fun games are not just fun games. This is really relevant for people who grew up back east. Late games. Like they were on late. The Steelers weren't playing anymore. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what you watched. They were cool. And like the Rams, the helmets were just fantastic.
But that's where I was going to go. And so this is not going to help my case at all. But I'm going to keep it real with you. I just like the colors. Okay. Of the all 4 teams. And 2, just like the person, I was like, and anything that was like cool about them. So my 3rd favorite team.
Jesus.
Okay, all right. Now this is getting unbearable for Ben and all of you. But was the Vikings. super cool helmets. They're the Vikings. They blow the horns. And
I'm going to disagree on super cool helmets.
I think so. I love their outfits. They're purple. It's lovely.
I mean, I love their outfits. Yeah.
And they were the purple people eaters. Come on, the purple people eaters are awesome.
I think you have to draw a distinction between liking a team. Like, yeah, I got no animosity toward the Vikings. I sort of like the Vikings. Like that.
Yeah.
You can say that about 12 teams. Like there's not like you don't have to hate everybody or be indifferent. I
don't hate the other 28.
I sort of like the Packers, right? Because they're an old school team, and I sort of like, and I sort of like the Browns for the same reason. I sort of want them to come back and win, and right. And I think those helmets are cool.
Oh, the Browns.
And I think those colors
gross.
are cool. Huh.
Yeah, no, I'm super anti-Browns. I've had a good run.
And I sort of like the Steelers because of the one, I don't know, liberal, but one non-lunatic owner in the NFL. Right?
Yeah, no, I think they're liberal. Yeah, I think the Rooneys have always been,
but they've supported Republicans too. But they're not. They're okay. And on the standard of sports owners, they're Eugene Debs of sports owners.
Eugene Debs. I was going to go with Trotsky, but Debs is better.
So I always like the Steelers and the Packers. I think the league is better when those teams are good. I hate the Cowboys, but I also think it's better when the Cowboys are good. I take a season where the Cowboys go 5-11, way less interesting than a season when the Cowboys are 11-5.
Agreed. I hate the Cowboys too, as any decent American should, or at least half Americans should, right? But yeah, all right, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just calling it the wrong thing. But I like the Vikings and I like the Rams. I've always liked the Vikings and the Rams.
I really only cared about the Skins and the Rams growing up. Now I really don't care about anybody. I mean, I want to like the Rams, but I gave up. I also, the Chargers, I can't help it. I see the Chargers had incredibly cool blue helmets, and then they went to their old school incredibly white helmets, and those were equally as cool.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's an excellent point.
It's a great point.
No, but it is because almost all the changes.
It's been now 11 minutes since Anna listened.
No, because the changes are in uniforms are bad 80% of the time,
right,
and good 20% of the time, or 18% of the time. But only 2% of the time are they equally good.
That's right. I mean, I'm not sure it's been only one time that a team has changed its uniforms to an equally good uniform.
Yeah, the Broncos.
I mean, the Rams did, because the Rams are now going back to their uniform before you came to this land, to the white helmets and the white and blue rather than the gold and yellow. Like they're gonna be white, and I think those are awesome. And so were the gold and yellow.
Yes, but the St. Louis years, they were dark years.
St. Louis, they had no business having the Rams. It's an outrage. I mean, it's also the Chargers, the Los Angeles having the Chargers, also an outrage.
Yeah, and it was gratuitous. It was just needless. But anyways, all right, enough on that. Anna's thing, no, is it? Anyway, look, the Broncos, I said they were in their old uniforms, which is great. But their new uniforms are not bad. So, okay.
I think they're bad. They're bad, but that's a reasonable people can disagree.
But the worst change, I've got one last thing. Worst change is the Milwaukee Brewers. They went from a super fun, cool logo, outfit, etc.
I mean the ball and the glove.
The ball and the glove to like boring, irrelevant, blah.
Well, who's done the exact same thing? The precise same thing has been done by the San Diego Padres.
Yeah,
they have. You saw the Padres and you were like, that's the Padres.
Yes, that's the Padres. That's
right.
The Brewers.
Now the Padres wear blue uniforms, blue and gray.
Who are you?
Right, I mean, I liked the Padres. Now I don't, and that's solely because they changed their outfits.
See, aha. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. I like the Vikings because I like their uniforms. I like the Rams because I like their uniforms. It turns out, and by the way, the other teams that I liked.
I don't believe I used the phrase the Padres were my fourth favorite team.
Okay. By the way, the Padres were my third favorite team in baseball.
I do. I still like the Padres.
And the Brewers were my fourth favorite team.
But when the Padres wear their throwback uniforms, I'm like, that's beautiful. That is a beautiful, goofy, awful uniform. But God bless. I want a Padre. No. It's very hard to find. I want a brown Padre hat with a yellow.
Oh, I would love to
FD.
get the old Brewers hat.
Yeah,
see him
I
every
have an
once
old
in a while.
Brewers hat. I do have an old Brewers. I just like to say one final thing from my point of view about the outfits. I think we can agree. I think we can reach an agreement that the worst uniform and therefore the worst uniform change, to me, in the history of outfits, not just sports outfits, but outfits, people getting dressed for work, everything. What the Cincinnati Bengals did is an affront to humanity. That the Bengal stripe on the helmet. I mean, and they haven't, because they're so cheap, they haven't changed it. One thing I loved about the old Bengals is they had a helmet and it said Bengals, right? And I was like, and they had no stripe, which I always like the boldness of no stripe. And, and I was like, I like that, Bengals. Because it's too big, right? But it was them. It was the Bengals. It's what they did, and now they have they changed it like in the late '80s, and it's just they've stuck for 30 years with the dumbest uniform change ever.
It's the Bengals. They'll figure out a way to bungle up everything.
Yeah,
That's true.
they bungle their uniforms as well.
By the way, the
Right.
Patriots uniform change also not good. I mean, the old school Patriot.
No, I got them in the same category as the Broncos, maybe even better. The old school ones were great, but the new school ones, they're pretty cool. On the other hand, you're going to agree with me this. So I guarantee you that Ben is going to agree with me.
I have an addendum to my Bengals.
Okay,
thing, but go ahead.
ready? The Buccaneers. The old Buccaneers, come on.
The old Buccaneers were good. The new Buccaneers is the worst thing ever. First of all, the
old Buccaneers were great.
when they
the
first-
guy with the thing.
Right, but that reminded me of the Patriots. Like it was just this, it was this again, this sort of noble, patriotic American snapping a football. Like he didn't even, look like a football player from 1912.
Right.
But to me, more than the Bengals change, the change that gets me more is the Bills. Because the Bills again took something totally fun and then ruined it by making the buffalo appear to run. They made him moving and a line going through it. And the great thing about the old Bills uniform, OJ's Bills, right, was that it was a sports team with a big, fat, sedentary animal as its motto, or not as its motto, as its whatever
Logo.
Thank you. And that Bill just standing there like, I'm not running. Why would I run?
Yeah.
The grass is right here. Or that buffalo, yeah.
Yeah. You think I'm going to come to get you, but I'm actually not. You're going to have to come get me.
Yeah. When we don't make the playoffs, we stand around. You run past us.
Well, they did in 4 Super Bowls.
But by then they changed. By then they'd ruined it.
All right. I think we've sufficiently covered that.
All right.
Okay. So. And of course, there's no way I'm going to remember what we were talking about earlier, where there was some sort of fun story.
But I would like to say one more thing about my neighbor. Bring it back to that, which will get us into talking about can at least lead us to Trump, because we're talking about. So she, obviously I host movies on TCM, and we ran a movie called Operation Eichmann, which, like Operation Finale, which came out this year, was about the Israeli agent's hunt for Adolf Eichmann. And so she says in her German accent, I saw I saw the Eichmann movie last night, did you? And then
What a sad movie. Why they were chasing him.
Leave him be. She said that, she's like, Eichmann was Jewish, right?
Oh, God.
Right, so, and we're in the yard, I'm getting out of my car. This was, whenever we ran the movie, you could figure out. So it was like within the last 3 months, though, definitely, I think. And you would have appreciated my response, which was,
No, he wasn't.
no, it wasn't. She's like, I looked it up online. I go, and then I backpedal. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not an Eichmann expert, but I'm pretty sure that piece of trivia would have found its way to me in my 51 years on this life, because it's pretty interesting, right? So I go home, I get out my iPad, and I Google, was Eichmann Jewish? And essentially, I forget where it is. I'm not going to do it again because it'll take me too long. But I found an article that said he was, but it took me, how hard she searched, or what and it was like 4chan, right? It was some crazy lunacy site about his parents, and therefore, all obviously nonsense, no mainstream historical site whatsoever. It took me 14 minutes to find something that you find on Google where you would be like, Look at it. And so I just think it's crazy. So she found it, read it. Like, that's what she believes. That's her world. So she went to some site, maybe it's Alex Jones, who knows, right? Some crazy thing that led her to this crazy article that Eichmann was Jewish.
Okay, I remember now, just the nick of time. So the family that had converted to Islam, their daughter is getting married to a friend of mine. We go and so they have an imam come to do the ceremony in their house. And we're Turkish, and they're also Turkish, but they were Turkish Jews that went to, and I'm like, imam? Never seen an imam at a wedding in my life, right? At a Turkish wedding or anything, right? And so then the imam says,
like what you see? Of course you did, it was old school. So click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.
You got a question,